CNN ain't see none of my friends. Swag gave me the blues, they never walked in my shoes. They want us living in fear, it ain't what I'm trying to hear. Switched it over to Fox, kept clicking, I barely stopped. New guest on NBC, no one that represent me, so I got tired of waiting. Sid master debate, give me some headlines, it must be past bedtime. Sleeping on me still like I ain't vitamin D for real. Rep your city, play devil's advocate. Wayne Brady gon' have to smack a bit. Tell me something good, a recipe for success. Give me some timeline, shop session and flight deck. Hey, P, what's next?
Yeah. Everybody talk about how fly they get, how they do they thing. Well, this is DHM. We gonna talk about our stilo. Yeah, for a minute. You know what I'm saying? My nigga city be clean. My nigga mean be clean. And Pizzo, well, we'll talk about that shit right now. Well, let's discuss style for a minute. I called back home and caught the fair hoe fitted. Southern Beach bum, gotta have the shades tinted. Royal blue polo tee, gold sign, killing. Of course, I'm a Bama fan, gotta roll tighty. The mama went to Auburn, but I'm clean, so she like me. Nike track jacket, but no creases in my khakis. And I got to have my fossil, cause I rolls with fossil. Tall slip polos, a chucks, they gon' be high tops. Nike, Maretza polo signs gon' be on my socks. Designer underwear, add that Ric Flair. But my nature boy be comfortable in every single pair. Cause my nature boy's comfort is important, I declare. If she handling my nature boy, she handle him with care. Trend shifting every year when you talking about that gear. I'm a pilot, therefore steer. Fly like William Power Lear, let's go! Okay.
Yeah. It's your nigga C.O.D, the Cater Boy Music, coming to you on a lovely Monday afternoon, man. It's storming up a storm out here in Decatur, man, in the C.O.D, the city of Decatur. And this is the chosen one, David, coming on these. Cash on delivery. All that shit, man. And as we talk about aliases and moving through society with different masks, this week's flight deck, man, it's gonna be brought to you by Tabula Rasa. And Tabula Rasa is my philosopher's stone. It's the part of me that looks at life from almost a third person shooter perspective, and just is flabbergasted by the things I witness and experience and the conversations I overhear or eavesdrop on, however you want to call it. You feel what I'm saying? You could deal it, you know what I'm saying? I'm out here just playing the game, you feel me? But the social contract, a pretty brief definition of it, just grabbed off of Google for the layman who is unfamiliar. An implicit agreement among members of a society to cooperate for social benefits, for example, by sacrificing some individual freedom for state protection. Theories of a social contract became popular in the 16th, 17th, and 18th century among theorists such as Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, who you know I love from the Tabula Rasa, and Jean-Jacques Rousseau, as a means of explaining the origin of government and obligation of its subjects. So as we talk about the social contract, I gotta bring in my nigga who I'm building this shit from the ground up with. Y'all already know we about to have ends on commas and zeros on zeros. So before we even get into all that, gotta bring in my nigga Pizzo.
You're in love with somebody else when you should be in
gang,
love
gang.
with yourself.
It's your boy
Today I'll do
P
a couple good
Henry Trotter the Fourth, aka Home Run Trot,
You know it.
aka Casino P, aka Quintavious Dyson, aka Mock Tube. Since we get into the aliases on the right side, aka Frederick _Thuggless. Man, what it is, OG? What it
Man, y'all already know what it is, man. You know I be sticking and moving and shaking out here in these streets, man. And this right here knocked out every other flight deck that was swirling around in my matrix, because I heard two young brothers having a conversation as I got ready to drop them off at school, man. And
Yeah.
I wasn't even, you know how you had two little Gits in the car, man. You'd be like, I ain't even gonna interject in the conversation because they talking as if you're not there. So you get to hear them truly be themselves. And there's a comfortability there. You feel what I'm saying? And they headed to their first day of high school and they like, man, you seen the stuff from the email? And it's a boy and a girl, you know what I'm saying? That's why I say Gits. Gits isn't gender specific. But anyway, they're like, seen the email? You're like, what email? I ain't check no email, the introductions. You're like, what you mean the introductions? You don't know your pronouns? He was like, my pronouns? Nigga, what you talking about? Brother and sister? Like, and she like, look, little bro, you got to have your pronoun ready for your introduction. And he like, let me Google this shit. he said, let me Google this shit. Oh man. And for those of you out there who listen, who know what's going on, y'all get why that's ridiculous. But for the people who are unaware, Pete, would you mind initiating people on what pronouns is referring to in 2021?
Yeah. So in 2021, and I believe it's been this early, like in this year and last year, it's become more prominent this year in things being, or the world being more gender aware and people being more gender fluid, and making sure that we acknowledge people on all sides of wherever they stand in the gender conversation. Your pronouns are what you like to be acknowledged as. So I like to be acknowledged as I'm a guy, is what I identify with, him, his, women, hers. And then some people like to identify with they, them, or some other way. So understanding what pronouns.
As somebody who is familiar with the lexicon, but not the meaning behind all of them, what are the plural ones significant? What do they signify? People who don't identify as one of the pronouns?
Yeah. People who don't identify as that don't identify as binary. People who identify as something other than I think like they, them, theirs. Yeah. I think that's where that the plural pronouns come from.
Okay, thank you for that frame of reference for myself as well as the audience, my brother. So hearing them overhearing this conversation and knowing kind of like my old haggard way of viewing the world and the way I was raised, and get with the times, and thinking about as I hear them having this conversation, and dude is like, bitch, sis, so what's my pronoun? She was like, nigga, I can't tell you your pronoun. And he like, nah, I don't know what's happening. You know what I'm saying?
You have to explain to me what's going on. Like, I need you to break this down for me.
She's like, well, I'm she. She was like, well, I'm she. And he was like, well, you already know I'm him. Fuck you talking about? And I was like, this nigga is an Atlanta nigga to his core, boy. I love that shit. But the conversation was just so funny. And they ain't gonna keep going until they back and forth. She got him right before I dropped him off at school. Because I wasn't gonna let him go to school without knowing what the hell to say when they introduced themselves. Because the realest thing I saw on this hurt my heart and frustrated me. Because it tore down every argument I had for fighting against the tide. And it was a young woman, and I'm sorry I didn't catch your at, but it was in response to a bunch of different shit. And I felt like it was Thor's hammer. It said, look, prepare your damn child for the world they are going to live in. I said, oh, shit. Oh. You know what I'm saying? I said, okay. And like everything I had to say, like I was just like, ooh. So in a normal case, when I have one of these, bro, like, I have flame. And boy, I got flame. But as I drop what I feel like kill all that bullshit that I had, because you've always known this about me. As stubborn as I am, I'll let go of an idea for a better idea.
Yeah.
100% of the time I will.
Yeah.
That's why I enjoy arguing. Because if you convince me you got a better idea, then let's ride. We finna kick people ass with this idea, but you're gonna have to give me all the pieces I need to. Exactly. I'm gonna need to get it. I'm gonna need to get it.
I'm gonna need to hear. I know you know all your bullet points.
So as somebody who's more progressive than me, do the other side of the argument without me doing my side, so I could feel comfortable to do my side, feeling like it's moot at this point. Because I've already ended it with that beautiful point by this young woman. And I'm going to track her down and shout out at a different stage, because that's wisdom. That's some on tabula rasa. We are a product of the things we consume. Without that nugget, I think I let the stubborn side of me try to win a lot of arguments with if the universe blesses me with children, with my mate and who I'm raising these young people with. I think the stubborn side of me makes me try to win a lot of dumbass arguments that are usurped by get your damn baby ready for the world they are going to grow up in. Yeah. The way I was raised, but I think this will extend into a lot of future social contract conversations. But I want your thoughts on this particular issue, and I'm going to ask you a quick question about kind of a spinoff of this.
Your stubbornness, or had you not, this is what I would have given you had you not read what you did, the tweet or whatever.
It was a tweet. I just got to get at.
We had a conversation last week in episode 13 where you led off on the flight deck with what?
Fuck old people. Oh, the baby boomers in particular.
Yeah, don't have them kids saying that same shit about our generation.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Don't have them sitting down in 30 years and they looking at the world that they living in and they're like, man, fuck millennials. Look at what they did to us. They fought against us on everything that we tried. As we tried to progress, they tried to fight everything and keep it because that's what they grew up in.
Can I tell you what you just did? You use perspective as a sword instead of a rearview mirror.
We some bad detectives.
Man, let's go ahead and learn with these conversations on way. We learning and growing right in front, y'all, kid.
Right, yeah,
y'all growing
right in front
with us?
Of ourselves, shit.
Hell yeah. That's beautiful. That's beautiful, cuz.
Yeah, don't have them babies looking at us in 30 years saying, man, this is the generation that wouldn't allow us to move the world forward.
Can I talk to you about the other side of this though?
Yeah.
The social contract in and of itself is to protect everyone. You feel what I'm saying? And I feel like as we work to do a better job as a world of taking care of the disenfranchised communities, the path toward equality or health has been blurred by removing the obstacles to health. the path to health and removing the obstacles to health are not the same thing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because there are people and entities and systematic things put in place to genuinely disenfranchise communities and different people. Right. Things that prevent people from having the same tax breaks, the same unions and benefits, from insurance to all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because you can't, like, every different community has their different issues. You know what I'm saying? Right. There are things going on in the Cuban community right now that are hugely in the forefront of people in the Miami community's mind because of the dense Cuban population down there and them building that city from the ground up. But the rest of the country not worried about that shit at all. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But from the perspective of the social contract and us progressing, what responsibility does society have to give a fuck about people who care about the tradition that isn't rooted in hate, misogyny, or bigotry? You know what I'm saying? Who have basic things they believe is important. You know what I'm saying? The basic supposition, or the thing I'm attaching to this, is the question: if we as a society are going to drill into the heads of children, you can decide that your pronoun is whatever you want it to be. And it is based off of how you feel. For the pragmatists, for the pessimists, for the old heads, for the assholes, could we make it a tenet of their education to ask for people's chromosomes as well as their pronouns? It's fine for you to talk to me about what you identify as, but can we make it normal for my child to be able to get the information of what the other child genetically is?
Yeah.
Because this is something that they're starting on the first day of high school. Yeah. Hormones raging, puberty hitting, dating is afoot, party, all kind of experimentation. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
If we on the first day are going to choose to identify as whatever we want to, potentially have transferred from a different district, and it's a fresh start, I can respect the time we are living in and prepare your child for the world that they are going to grow up in. But in trying to shape the world that the children will grow up in, is that a reasonable request, or is that lumped in with wanting to know my chromosome is an obstacle to you respecting what I identify? Wanting to know my chromosome is an obstacle to respecting my pronoun. Is it either or?
I think it just depends on the type of person that you are. And I think it'll be, by the majority, it'll be understood as you want that information because what I identify is, what I identify with being this. My chromosomes may say I'm this. What you'll use is the scientific information to discredit how I feel or what I want to identify as, which is kind of how, before we got into this push for the fluidity of gender, it was binary, it's one or the other. And now it's
to be direct, to not cloud this, and I want it to be more quick to not get us bogged down, but to be direct about it, my issue is tabula rasa. blank slate. If you are not given it, you cannot create it.
Yeah.
If you believe heterosexuality to be being attracted to the opposite gender, and we make gender something that is pronoun based and something you can choose, then you start a whole discussion or destroy the discussion around heterosexuality being gender based and it being chromosome based.
Yeah.
And I think stripping human beings of the ability to have that knowledge is problematic, especially at the age of puberty. Yeah. Going into high school, to strip them of the ability to know whether or not someone is genetically what they are, what they believe themselves to be attracted to. You see what I'm saying? Because if it's all image based and if it's all how you feel, then to strip other people of the ability to know what they're getting into or to know whether or not they are getting what they genuinely seek, I believe that's problematic. And it destroys the conversation of how all of this applies moving forward at all.
Yeah.
Because then people who were potentially born genetically something that they don't identify as start to use you not wanting to be with them as you being someone portraying hate as opposed to having a preference. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So the
blurring the lines and destroying the transparency is what's murky to me.
And so this is how I'll give that rebuttal, and then we can move on and you can respond to what I'm about to say. Is your identification is you living in your truth. I understand science to inform gender. That's part of my truth. So you can live in your truth, but I need to be able to have access to information that informs my truth as well, which is what are your chromosomes? If we are going to be in intimate or we're going to have some type of relationship that is romantic. If I do, yeah, right. Like
telling me your pronoun is important to you. Telling me your chromosome is your identification to the world from a basic scientific standpoint. Right. And we can have a conversation about how little the importance the chromosome holds. We can put them on the Libra scale and respect them equally, but I think chromosomes should be a part of the discussion is what my assertion is.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that.
Imagine the progress that would be had 50 years from now if you had 35% of human beings identifying as non-binary or something other than what their chromosomes say, because they have the consciousness from birth that it is something to explore and a path and a journey. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So don't look at it as, I don't want to give the biggest this tool. I'm just talking about balance. You feel what I'm saying? And understand that this is the world that you will be controlling 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now.
Right.
So you could say, fuck you for right now. I don't like what it could be potentially used as right now. But I mean, a hammer has done so many things since its inception other than drive nails. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Knowledge is power. And it's, you know what I'm saying? That tool doesn't have to be used for negative.
Right. No, that's true.
But yeah, man. Try to keep it a little bit light, man. Move on a little bit, man. You seen anything good on TV, man? Some GSTV, give me some TV, man. You seen anything good streaming, whatever? You seen it on the screen? Seen it on the screen? That's how I knew shit. Seen it on the screen.
You seen it on the screen?
SOS, baby. Oh man, now we gotta build a logo for that.
Yeah.
Write that down, G. GSH SOS. Matter of fact, I write that down, talk to the people.
I told you about something that I had seen, but I started something new that caught my attention on Apple TV Plus, and I'm all the way in on that guy. I was cognizant of him, knew about some of his work, but I went into like a deeper dive and like looking for more of his work. The homie Jason Sudeikis, man. He got a show out called Ted Lasso, and it's soccer based, which is a sport that we want to get into more. And bro, that junk is hilarious, man. Like his character is. Do you know the premise of the show?
Talk to the people about it. I do.
So, Ted Lasso is a Division II American football coach. He just won a national championship. He knows nothing about the world sport of football, or what we call in the United States is soccer. And he gets a call from the representation or ownership of I think the equivalent of an English Premier League soccer team, which is like the top level of soccer, and to be their head coach. And like the show kind of launches from there. Like somebody who has no idea of the culture and in London, England, wherever he is, in the UK. And then like he has literally no idea or doesn't know much about soccer. And then he and his assistant coach from the football team, like his assistant head coach, they go over there and like they become the coaches for this English Premier League team. And I'm only one episode in, bro, but I'm 10 toes down.
Yeah, it's a commercial they turned into a TV show. I forget what it was a commercial for or what it was promoting. But it was like some SNL skit shit. Yeah, it was like some SNL skit shit they turned into a TV show.
Yeah, but that's what I'm watching on TV, man. I'm looking forward to diving into that a little bit more because of like Sudeikis has that. I feel like they give him guidelines on what they want his character to be, but they just let his kind of personality, because he has that. I think his background is obviously like he was a stand-up comedian at some point in his life. If he's still not a stand-up comedian. But
he went the SNL route.
I didn't know he was on SNL, but I don't watch SNL very often.
For like a decade or some shit like that. He carried them through like the 05 to 15 era. When he was getting out of movies and shit, it was all for the strength of the SNL run. Okay. That's how he built their network and shit.
Yeah, he doing.
Well, at least that's my assumption.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't want to give anything away for folks because I think
All Pass, We Are the Millers are both fucking like back-to-back bangers. You seen them shits?
Oh, 100%. Horrible Bosses too.
Horrible Bosses. That's the one I was missing.
Yeah.
Nick Kirkdale. You seen the sequel? Oh yeah, man. That was a potential name for the Nickerdale. The 3 name Nickerdale.
Yeah, Nickerdale.
And by the way, man, I don't know if it's at any point in shouted term here that she couldn't get it. Jennifer Aniston, boy, shouted had them yams for decades. I swear, shouted is Thanksgiving dinner, bro. I swear she looked like a hot meal.
Still got them.
I swear.
I was in a restaurant, saw some reruns of Friends, and then you get to the Horrible Bosses era, which was about 10 years ago now. And then like now she on a show called The Morning Show.
You don't even understand how strong Me Too is. They used to keep it 33 degrees on the Friends set. Tell me you seen one episode where the nipples wasn't.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
They kept it 33 degrees and didn't let them women wear no bras, man. I ain't noticed that it was all them pointers as a kid. But as an adult, rewatching Friends, I'm like, ain't no way in hell. Because they was so fucking funny, bruh. Ain't no way in hell that should have been happening on set.
No.
You feel what I'm saying? That disrespectful as hell. But the wild part is to see them transition from making Monica the sexualized one to Rachel being the sexualized one, and like because the Ross and her chemistry got played up and it didn't make sense to have Ross as the main love interest story and then his sister be the one they drove. It was an interesting show to watch the character development in.
Yeah. Shout out to Living Single for giving them the blueprint.
I know. But yeah, you one episode in and you hooked, bro. Is it a 43-minute joint, 23-minute joint? How long is it?
It's a 43-minute joint.
Okay.
Yeah.
You recommend it?
I recommend it, man. I highly recommend it. Apparently,
so how are we rating things here at GSH? Mull that over while I tell you about the show that I've been watching, my GSTV. Man, I've been rewatching My Wife and Kids, man. I ain't even gonna cap. I just finished up season 1 and dropped into season 2, bro. And one of the most startling things I've ever experienced as a binge watcher is going from dark Claire to light skin Claire like that. You hear me? Hulu said 4, 3, 2, 1. Light skin Claire come running onto the screen, and then they go, Claire, something different about you. It's the first joke of the show. They don't like dance around it or nothing. And his wife not on the show for a couple episodes, and then she come back heavy. And I'm like, damn. This show really, like season 2, and they made it like 7 seasons. I was like, this nigga was on his P's and Q's because he lost 2 cast members for like the first 5 episodes of season 2, bruh. Think of a show that could survive losing 2 out of 4 cast members for 7 episodes. He a bad boy, cuz. My GSTV was supposed to be about startling character changes, and then me ask you, hey man, you remember the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, how they switched on Viv? Ha. Can you think of any other ones? But after going into season 2, I was like, damn. And them episodes was funny, cuz. Like one of the best episodes I've seen out of the whole series so far is 1 and 2, where it's just him and the kids, and they start telling him how terrible of a father he is. So he said, you know what? No rules in this house for a week. If y'all could last a week without rules in this house, without me, then it'll never be any more rules in this house. Y'all just let me not pay the bills. I'll be the money bags, whatever. But if you can't make it that week, then you got to tell me. It was something like, you got to give me a hug, tell me I was stupid and you're the best daddy in the world. And then the episode play out. Bruh, that shit's so funny, bruh. Like, he leave, come back and say, all right, I'm headed to McDonald's. Anybody want to come? The little baby quit the first fucking... She's like, I holler at y'all ass. I want some chicken nuggets. You feel what I'm saying? And like, bruh, it's so many little elements of the show that's hilarious. All of season 1, to me, the funniest joke is him mocking Katie. She'll say something and he'll say it back, and like she'll say like chicken nuggets. He'd be like chicken nuggets and like make a face, bro. That shit kill me every time, bro. I was like, am I this easy or was comedy just better? I don't know, bro. What you think, man? Are old shows just better?
I got a quick question. And My Wife and Kids, Katie was the love interest in You Got Served, right?
I thought you was about to say, oh, Franklin. The little nigga, they be like, oh, Katie. I hated that nigga. I ain't seen You Got Served in a minute, cuz.
Okay.
Oh, so her daddy was the nigga who worked that he worked for cutting grass, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, hold up. I don't know. You sure that wasn't old Juicy Smollett sister?
I don't think so.
Smouillet?
I don't think it was Juicy.
Is it French? You Got Served?
Schmollett.
They
look French. They look Haitian.
Creole, maybe.
Yeah. But
people from New Orleans.
I do think, man, because people.
Jennifer Freeman. Yeah. Why the hell you go? You Got Served.
I watched that movie a lot. I was a dancing nigga in college.
That movie is single-handedly responsible for Crumpin' going worldwide. No, not You Got Served. Which one the one where niggas be stepping? Stomp the Yard.
Stomp the Yard.
Nigga, I looked up You Got Served, bruh. I looked up the right one the whole time thinking Stomp the Yard in my head. That's the one where the nigga cut grass. You was like, yeah, that's it. Niggas ain't cutting grass.
Drugs. So you know how we talk about selling drugs.
Whoa. No, we don't. We don't never talk about that. Moving on.
We said anything about cocaine.
Hey, man, give me some pages.
Man, so I read a story recently, bro, that caught my attention, man, and I felt like I had to bring it here because we on this entrepreneur journey. Shout out to Sleepers for Suckers at Sleepers for Suckers on the Instagram. But it was one of those real come up stories that American dream type joints for an immigrant family. And we talk about maintaining the things that we create and not allowing the powers that be to come and do what they like to do after you have done all the hard work. And so it's the story of Sriracha sauce, created by Thong. And Thong is the creator's a Vietnamese American named David Tran. And Thong was the name of the ship that he used to get from communist Vietnam to the United States. He came back over here. Sriracha story tracks back to the 1930s in a Thai town called Sriracha. A housewife named Thong Chakapak created a paste of chili peppers, distilled vinegar, garlic, sugar, and salt. And there's been varying recipes, variations of the recipe over the years. But the one that caught on here in the United States was Sriracha, and that was made by David Tran. He was a member of the South Vietnamese Army in 1978. He traveled over here to the United States, and the ship he traveled over here on was the Thong. And Thong became the parent company. Thong Foods became the parent company for Sriracha. And so he ended up in LA and brought this recipe over here, and he wanted to make it out of like local ingredients. So the main ingredient became jalapenos, and he started selling it out of like one of them old school vans. And he was making like $2,300 a month in the beginning. And so he started doing some packaging. And he was born in 1945, which is the year of the rooster. So you see the rooster on the front of the packaging, and then the packaging has 5 different languages, which made it appealing to people because it became kind of a world product. And then he put one of the strategic moves that he made was putting a green top on it. That's like the original Sriracha sauces has the green top on it because it looks like it gives it a look of freshness. And so this is the growth of this. Like Buddy came in with nothing, started this. He had this one product. And
look like the tip of a jalapeno too.
Yeah, it sure do. 1980s. In 1980, he had a 5,000 square foot building in Chinatown, LA. 7 years later, in 87, 68,000 square foot warehouse in Roseman, California. 2010, which is 23 years later, 650,000 square foot warehouse in Irwindale, California. And it is making $150 million a year only using 10 distributors. And so they use 100 million pounds of chilies per year. But the biggest takeaway that popped into my mind from listening to this story was investors have been knocking on Tran's door for decades. In November 2020, Shalala hot sauce was acquired by spice maker giant McCormick and Company for $800 million or $92 million on $92 million of sales. A similar price and sales multiple, which is 9 times for Huy Fong, easily nets a $1 billion valuation. And Buddy said, nah, I'm not with that. He said, this is a rich man's sauce at a poor man's price. He said, I've already reached my American dream, and that a dream wasn't to become a billionaire. We started this because we like fresh, spicy chili sauce. And he wanted to pass that on, this $1 billion company, to his family. And so it's a thing that we talk about quite a bit that I wanted to explore a little bit. And it's when you believe in your product, when you know that you have an incredible product, when you know that what you have is unique, even though other people can't see it, man, just maintain that consistency. And this ain't just for me and you in doing this podcast and all our creative endeavors and all those things. This is for everybody who watches this. This is somebody who came over here with something that they knew was good and just continue to move forward with it and put their ideas behind it and did it the way that they wanted to do it, which is a theme on Gimme Some Headlines, is do it the way we would do it. And so that story really jumped off the page at me because, one, we enjoy really good stories, and then we enjoy people who get it out the mud and endure all the hardships that come their way and push it forward. And so I wanted to talk to you about how you felt about, like, when you read that story, or like when you hear about that type of story, like what are the things that jump out from that story to you?
I think deja vu. I think about the other stories that in my short lifetime I've heard that reflect that a product that I love and use every single day is my bevel razor. And the young brother who started that company is a melanated gentleman. And he had a company I won't give any promotion to come and offer him $1 billion for his line as well. And he turned it down. And that's continued to make amazing products for people of all kinds. And the quality and like I literally have not like I got mine as a gift because I talked about how amazing it was until my old lady was driven crazy. Me and her have been broken up for 2 years. I am still using the exact same fucking razor. You heard what I'm saying? We have been split up for 2 years and I'm still using that same bevel razor. That thing is fucking amazing. I shit you not. And when my brother put this in my consciousness, I immediately, because Cholula is my favorite hot sauce. The young woman who put me up on this razor, who put me up on this hot sauce is the same one who bought that razor, funny enough. But Cholula, my favorite shit. It go amazing on pizza. It's that shit just fire. Yeah, it go good on sandwiches, on your man. Forget it.
Like eggs and potatoes, like your breakfast joints, yeah.
Bruh, that shit fire.
Yeah.
And I'd have bought that hot sauce until I died. And I don't know how many more years I have, but at least 50. For them to have sold for what 10-year valuation of their company would be is frustrating because they had 40, 50 more years of my business.
Right.
And they had 40 or 50 more years of me introducing people to that shit and other people who love that shit introducing people to that shit. So for them to not go the Sriracha route was disappointing. And I fuck with Sriracha flavoring. And when P put this in my consciousness, I immediately went and got the original sauce so that I could taste it. And I hope that it becomes one of my favorite sauces. And we'll see what it do. And if it don't, then I just use it in recipes and shit. But I'm going to keep some in the crib just because I fuck with the story. That's how I feel about it. Love. I fucks with it.
It was funny also because like you see, like you said, you see like the branding all over the place. Like they made Sriracha Doritos, like they make Sriracha shells.
Yeah.
El Paso made Sriracha shells for like tacos and stuff like that. And he never copyrighted the actual Sriracha name. He only copyrighted the packaging. Like you can't mimic that. And he was like, and the reason he didn't copyright the name was he's like, I wanted people to use it because it's free marketing for me. If people want to use it, like you can only get this sauce from me. You can only get, like, you don't have the recipe for the sauce and you can't use my packaging. And so the name is cool. Use the name, like get it out there, put it on whatever you want to put it on, or like try to replicate it all you can, because that's just going to get people to invest in trying to figure out like, well, where's the origin of this at? And that's what's helped him to, it's like, it's free marketing, free word of mouth. And I thought
I'm extremely
really
confused at how people protect recipes when they have to copyright them and like patent them. How are people protecting recipes in 2021?
That's, well,
like seriously.
Apparently,
a nigga who got fired released the 13 herbs and spices a couple months ago.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. The Colonel Secret.
I think the only folks who really have kept it under wraps that I know of to this point, because they let you know, like in the story that I read, they let you know like the ingredients, but they was just like, the thing that he's really good at is picking fresh jalapenos, because it's such an intricate process and it's really difficult to do. And so
ratios is everything too, though.
Yeah, it is. And so they showed you like on one of the infographics, they showed you like the progression of like which ones you like to choose, and like it was really dope. But the only folks I know that have kept their recipe under wraps for real, I thought it was KFC, but Coca-Cola is the only people that I know that have kept theirs under wraps.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of, but yeah, man, that story jumped out at me, man, for a number of reasons. And there's a lot of good lessons in entrepreneurship.
Do you know how Coca-Cola keep that shit under wraps?
It's only 2 people that know that shit, or 3 people that know that shit.
They don't have the complete recipe either.
Yeah, and neither one of them have it. Yeah, one of them got half of it and the other one got the other half or something.
And they aren't allowed to travel on the same plane like the president and the vice president.
Yeah.
So that the recipe can't be lost. The third person is a backup. Like that, yeah, you know, yeah. Coca-Cola on some, never mind.
Don't say it. But yeah, man, it's like, I feel like this story was in a lot of ways an education for me, man. And helped me to learn a little bit. And speaking of education and learning, there's another story that I wanted to talk about.
I was like, this nigga finna keep talking about that shit.
Nah, I'm about to move on. There was another story on Medium by the homeboy Garfield Hinton. And he wrote this Medium story that was prompted by a text from Dro or Sarunas Jackson, aka Dro from HBO series Insecure, and the tweet read, "Black parents, a rich all-white school isn't always a better situation for your Black child." And the homie quoted that tweet and put it on his IG story and said, he's wrong. An environment where you surround your Black child with all white, with a classroom full of white kids, is never the best environment for your child, man. And so we talk about this from time to time, man, like how we gonna raise our Gits. Should be blessed to have them. And one of the foundations of a life of fulfillment for me is access to a good education. So it's access to a home, wholesome food, and then a good education. And so he started going down like the rabbit hole of the questions that he's asking himself and some of the statistics of predominantly white institutions, because the assumption is predominantly white institutions have better resources. But that comes at a cost. Like, you have to put your child in a school where they are surrounded by people who don't look like them. So we know what comes with that. And then you put them in a predominantly an environment where people around them are predominantly look like them, with that lack of resources. But what they don't get in resources, they get in having the enrichment of people who look like them, where their creativity is fostered, where their well-being is looked after. And so the question that I wanted to ask you are, like, what are these things that you think about when it comes to like the education of your Jit? Because I went to a predominantly white high school. My high school was probably 75% white, probably 10% Black, maybe. And then other. And then we went to a predominantly white college or institution where it was 95% white, I think, and then 5% other. I think 1% was Black, 1% Hispanic, 1% Asian, and then 2% like other or something like that. So
we ain't got to do the percentages. It was 56 Black people that my senior year we counted. Yeah. It was 56 of us. Fuck the percentages. It was 56 at a whole college. We ain't gonna play that game. And I'm wearing the gear. I had an amazing time. I ain't gonna cap. I had an amazing time. University of the South. We out here. It's way more there now. Let me actually shout them out and show love. Their diversity campaign has yielded great success. The Q's is on campus. I was a member of Gamma Sigma Phi, local fraternity, still going strong at the U, but they've since got a national chapter fraternity up there, thanks to my brother Kurt, who designed the C.O.D, the Cater Boy Music logo, who y'all see behind me right here. You know what I'm saying? The heart with the dagger through it. You know what I'm saying? I talked to my brother is an amazing artist, and I talked to him in depth about some shit that was on my heart, and talked to him about where my head was, and he gave me 3 different designs, and that right there was my favorite of the 3. All of them were amazing. And I talked to him about wanting different versions. He hit the nail on the head all 3 times. I just didn't know that version is the one I loved. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that boy bad. Long story short, that boy bad. And he is one of the designers of that broken neck gear that y'all see us wearing on different episodes on the YouTube and on the Patreon. But said all that to say this. Phew. It was a long route to get back to what you asked me. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Education is a tough thing. And the dilemma that, first and foremost, the dichotomy between the 2 things that you're talking about is raising up the importance of 2 different types of resources. Thinking of the child as a seed, when planting him in this soil, what is more important to be fertile? The human resource in his peers, or their resources as far as the educators, the classroom, the materials, the excursions they go on to further their knowledge, the programs, the graduation rates, the schools that the children then go on to after they graduate from this particular institution. What is more important when planting this seed from an education standpoint?
Yeah.
It's not even up for discussion whether or not your child need to be around people who look like them to develop culturally if you want them to feel a kinship to people who look like them when they grow into adulthood, period. But that shit could be achieved through sport. It could be achieved through mathlete competition. It could be achieved through hanging out with people in your neighborhood because you live in a neighborhood with people who look like you. You feel what I'm saying? But I feel like that's the discussion you have. And I'm not going to vote on that necessarily. I want to go to a step 2. Step 2 is to simply be transparent about what my process looked like. Decatur was weird as fuck when I grew up. You know what I'm saying? 90s, 2000 knots into the 2010s, that shit was weird. I went to an all-black elementary school, and it was one of 7 elementary schools, all of which were segregated. It was like Decatur, Fifth Avenue, Decatur. It was College Heights. I called it when I went to Decatur, and I got kicked out of College Heights and went to Fifth Avenue, and I started calling that one Decatur. Decatur Elementary. But anyway, College Heights, Fifth Avenue, Oakhurst, and those was black, black, black. And College Heights was uppity. Fifth Avenue was in the middle. Oakhurst was hood as fuck. And we all warred with each other like we weren't a quarter mile from each other. But everything was like gerrymandered and rigged up. So all the black kids went to school together. And then you had Winona. We called it White Nona. You had Glendale, and you had like a few other ones. I forget the other couple ones that made 7. But we integrated at middle school. So it went from being 100% black, 100% white to 50 fucking 50 at Renfro Middle School. And we carried that right into high school. So we had about 6 years, kindergarten through 5th, just us. And then we went 50-50 at puberty all the way to college. I feel like I got heaven.
Yeah.
So I don't even know how niggas deal with growing up in the PWI. I don't even know how niggas deal with it. Because I went to an all-black elementary school. I got kicked out of one. And the other one I went to was an all-black elementary school. And they was right in the middle of uppity and hood as a motherfucker. My pocket. You feel what I'm saying? Had I got kicked out and went to Oakhurst, I'd have probably got beat up and fought every day. I'd have fought niggas, and I'd have won some, and I'd have lost some. I went to Fifth Avenue. I had to fight a couple times the first 2 weeks, and then we was good. The niggas I fought ended up being who became my friends. because they knew I was with it. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, we gonna go fight other niggas and win. Yeah. That's how we doing it. That's how we kicking it. This nigga my cousin, this nigga my cousin, and this other nigga who was punching you in the back of the head, that's because he was my cousin. I was like, oh yeah, okay, so y'all the right crew then. I'm glad I chose y'all. Yeah, I was like, I don't even know this nigga. I said, yeah, that's my cousin. That's why he was getting you. I said, okay. So like, I really feel like I had the perfect fucking path. You feel what I'm saying? Because I grew up with my niggas in College Heights. I got kicked out for reasons we ain't gonna discuss right now. So I had to deal with going to a new school, finding new friends, figuring out who the tough niggas was, fighting the biggest nigga in class, having the first. I was like, I remember I dead ass was sitting in class one day, was like, these niggas think because I'm fat, I'm not that nigga. Wait the field day. I got my first girlfriend I had in my whole life after field day. I showed my ass field day, cuz. But like, I just built different things that I think a lot of people don't get. Like motherfuckers who don't have to transfer schools don't get that. I got to make all new friends and keep my be myself in a new environment. They don't get that at 7. You feel what I'm saying? I know. And then at 12, integrate, and it's 50-50.
Right.
And we went from being with one teacher all day to us switching periods. So not only was it 50-50, it wasn't like you was with your partners all day. It was new white people every period. It was new black dudes. It wasn't even you might not even be with Oakhurst niggas if you went to Oakhurst. You might be with College Heights niggas. So you're like, man, look at these old uppity ass. Like, these are the Carltons and the Michaels and the Howells. And you with it's Montavious, Quintavious. You feel what I'm saying? These the Oakhurst niggas. Yeah. I hate to even be like that. You feel what I'm saying? And the Fifth Avenue niggas, David, Quincy, Carmichael, Norman, dead ass right down the middle. I don't know how they did it. They zoned the fuck out Decatur.
That's the thing you get, like, because I went to visit my auntie. I stayed with her. She moved from.
Oh, can I close that loop real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
And then, like my brother P said, all of that prepared me to then go to a PWI for college. And the reason why I felt like I had the perfect path is because going to a PWI for college is because they say elementary is to prepare you for middle school. Well, I got to grow up with my people, build a strong base, find my identity, have to find myself again. And then when I find in puberty, when you don't know who the fuck you is, I went through the process of finding myself several times. So I was ready for middle school. Middle school is supposed to prepare you for high school. All right, well, now I know these guys. I know the lay of the land. I found myself. I know myself in my body. Now I'm going to go ahead and get ready for college. I went to a PWI because college is supposed to prepare you for the real world. So when you're talking about, is a PWI healthy for you as a melanated person specifically, at the college level to prepare you for the real world, you find me a workplace that isn't 90% Caucasian at high earning levels. So it depends on what you're trying to do.
What did you say in the flight deck? Prepare your child for the world they about to live in.
Prepare your child for the world they about to live in. So look at the industry you want to work in and what those industries are reflected demographically. Choose an institution that puts a lot of people into that industry. And if it so happens to be a PWI, go get your receipt. That's what I call a degree. It is simply proof you took the necessary courses and paid your tuition. Because if you don't pay your tuition, you don't get that degree. That thing a receipt. Call it whatever you want to. Celebrate, because it's an achievement. I got mine, but that thing a receipt. Go get your receipt and make sure you get it from. Make sure you don't go get a Discover card. Make sure it's accepted where you trying to go spend it. That's all I'm saying.
Make sure it's accepted everywhere you want to be, like Visa.
You feel what I'm saying? Fuck the principalities. You feel what I'm saying?
Square bitty.
But you were talking about your aunt, my brother. Take us there.
Yeah. We was when we moved out to me and my brother spent the summer out in the A when I was the summer before I went into high school. And I learned more
Dawson's Creek coming to age.
It was a real coming to age, man, because I got to, like, I was spending time, and I went from a town of around 20, 25,000 people to be in Tucker, Georgia. And then my auntie taking me to Riverdale to hang out with some family members, and being at like Lenox Mall and shit. And like she just dropping us off. Being in North Cumberland, she just dropping us off. And me and my brother just getting to do kind of our thing, man. And so I got to, we going to the underground, like we doing all of these different cultural things, and then going back to rural Alabama and being surrounded, because I grew up in a predominantly white, rural environment. And so what most prepared me for and what introduced me more, because I grew up in a Black neighborhood, but my education was, I was surrounded by predominantly white kids, because I was also in, and I think you are as well, in gifted, talented programs. And so there are usually fewer of us in those programs, especially when you're in a rural area where you and it's an area sprinkled with Black people in the first place. When you get into those programs, they cover their quotas, and then they kind of leave it at that. Like they don't.
May I interject?
Yeah.
For some of y'all out there who don't understand, for Black people to say the phrase, talking to me like you think I'm stupid, that is a part of where we get the distinguishing ability to know whether or not you talking to us like we stupid, because we took them classes with the motherfuckers you talk to like they stupid, and then we took them honors courses and them AP classes, and we know the difference in how you educate people you believe to be of high thinking capacity. So we know the minutia of how you say certain shit. So we definitely know what the fuck we talking about when we say, stop talking to me like you think I'm stupid. Motherfucker, we know, and we ain't stupid. So nut the fuck up and know that we ain't playing when we say that shit to you.
Yeah.
It's because we at a very young age cultivated the ability to know whether or not you talking to us like we stupid. Y'all let us in the door. We was in that motherfucker learning way more than English. Talk to him, P. I'm just saying.
That's the thing, man.
That needed to be said. I don't know where that shit came from, but when you said that shit moved to the middle thought bubble, bruh, thank you for that platform to share that. Cause we gonna clip that, and people need to hear that shit.
And that's the important part of this thing, is to prepare. Because I think about it more and more, because me and Shawty are progressing in our relationship, and
I'm sorry, bro. And more so I'm gonna bring you back here, but I don't want you to lose that connection point. You were talking about that summer in Atlanta and taking that confidence back to this rural Alabama town. Close that loop for the audience.
Yeah. And so, so I spent that summer out there, man. Like, it was the summer that Rush Hour 2 dropped. I remember that shit vividly. We went to North DeKalb Mall and was in the theater, and me and my brother was there.
My hood.
It was in the hood. It was in your hood, your neck of the woods. And so I got my first pair of Air Force Ones, man. It was a pair of high top, gumdrop bottom Air Force Ones, man. And so by the time I left, like I was running, like I felt like when you go from Fairhope, like my pops is from Mobile, my mom is from Point Clear. They settled down in Fairhope. When you from a town of 20,000 people and you go run a city of multi-millions, and you start making friends and you start having experiences, you start talking to women, and you start, like, you build that confidence. Like when I went back to Fairhope, I was a different cat. And so that was a part of my
education. Like it was an immersion experience. And so I got to leave my predominantly white surroundings and get into being my predominantly white educational setting and go into a predominantly Black educational setting for a summer in Atlanta. And so it informed me about so many other things. It gave me so much more confidence. And I walked back into my small town with a whole lot more like, man, I'm a big city boy now. You know what I mean? And so I think that is important.
Instead of being a fish out of water, you felt like you were at home with your people.
Right.
And you went back to your home like, I'm visiting here. I got bigger things on the horizon.
It was
the Air Force Ones, baby. They don't sell them at the Galleria.
It was more of a growth experience. Like I had graduated from something and got and elevated my game. You know what I mean? Like I went from junior varsity to varsity in a sense. And so I think that immersion experience is important, not just for people of color, Black kids, brown kids, but it's important for folks who come from the other side to have immersion experiences where they experience something that is not like what they're used to going through. And so, which was what Swanee, the University of the South, was also, is because I came from a predominantly white high school, but it was also an immersion into a world where there were kids who came from who were rich and came from more wealth than I had, but there wasn't that type of wealth. I didn't see that type of wealth in Alabama where I came from. Like we saw a different type of wealth when we got to Swanee. And so
don't be saying we. Nigga got cake in the cater, cuz.
True. That's true. Yeah,
them houses on Ponce de Leon ain't cheap.
Yeah.
Them bitches is not cheap. Hey, but shouts out to Swanee though. I swear, I be in class and a motherfucker be like, what? And I be like, you need me to rephrase it or enunciate. What's your problem here? Here you talking about. Okay, you heard what the fuck I said. You feel what I'm saying? You need me to rephrase it or enunciate it. You know I just dropped some motherfucking knowledge. You'll get the work. You feel me?
Yeah.
And that's that confidence in who you are, man, because niggas will try to make you, niggas will try to shake, when they can't shake the statement, they'll try to shake your confidence in it.
Yeah. And that's also what I think that Summer in Atlanta gave me is like that steadfast and firmness in like being who I am and helping me to develop my personality based on what I wanted it to be, because my auntie gave me a whole lot more freedom than my parents gave me in their house. And so I was able to develop my personality based on what I wanted my personality to be versus who I was around every day shaping who they wanted me to be. And so I believe, being able to foster that type of evolution in your child is a part of their education as well as the human resources, the learning resources, the excursions, like all of that is.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Important. Yeah.
To kind of bring everything full circle, because as you talk about your journey in that trip, you kind of hit the trifecta. So when you talk about going back to Alabama with this new lease on life as a young Git, was it the human resource of how you were received by the people? Was it the environmental resource of being in a big city from a small city and having all of this different diverse people and playground to go and traverse? You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or was it the maturation of the independence that your aunt gave you that you had never gotten from your mother, which would be counterintuitive. I'm sending my babies up there to the big city. Make sure you take good care of them. All right, I got you, girl. All right, I'm going to drop y'all off in the Cab County. Good luck. You feel what I'm saying? On the east side, nigga, hey? You feel me? Like, what of the three was if you had to choose? Obviously, all three. I don't know if you were conscious of hitting all three in your story, but that was a good way to round it out. Which one was the biggest impact?
The biggest impact was the human resources part of it. Definitely was the people. Because we are more so shaped by the folks our peers, than we are by the folk, like, because that's who you spend the more time with. So my auntie was an authority figure, but she was a peer in the sense that she gave me the same type of freedom. Like, she knew she was responsible for me, but she gave me freedom to be myself. And so everybody else around me, like, they were just accepting me for who I was. I was the country kid from South Alabama. They knew that. But at the same time, like, I was able to share with them, like, the personality and the person I wanted to be. And my auntie was like, go out there, kick it with Keith them, have a good time. Like, and we was sliding through, you know what I'm saying? He had my cousin Keith had folks that were close to him that had just gotten their driver's license. And I remember sliding, like, through the city with them and being able to, like, folks say, oh man, you don't sound like you're from Atlanta. Like, where you from? And so being able to share where I was from and what I came from, and being able to be steadfast in who I was and where I came from, but also not having to be the person I had to be at home, which was kind of suppressing who I am naturally. But I think the human resources is the more important piece of all. Just because I kind of always have a conversational agenda and I like to tie a bow on things, with the human resources being what you would say was chief amongst the things that impacted you when you came to Atlanta. Tying this back to what brought us here, how does that impact what you would want for your child? Right. I want my kid PWI or that Atlanta environment. You see what I'm saying? It's a combination of the two. That's what I was getting around to. No, you got to choose, because in this scenario, you got to choose. Give me that Atlanta environment. Give me that Atlanta environment. 100%. Period. 100%. Period. Give me that Atlanta. Bro, the simplest way I could explain it to you is, think about how close you are to the Atlanta people who came to Sewanee. Now think about how many of the Atlanta people that came to Sewanee are close to each other. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, obviously, your journey has taken you through different, but you see what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. Who knows if you'd be you if you was Atlanta P? Yeah. That's the most interesting thing about becoming who you are, bruh. That's an interesting perspective. It's a reason. It's a reason why pine cones are blown by the wind, bruh. It's supposed to be some chaos and where that seed get planted. It's supposed to be. Yeah. But I appreciate you for staying true to what you said. Was you didn't know I asked you which of the three so that I could do that to you, but I appreciate you for staying true. I just wanted to drive us forward, so I figured I'd kick you in the shin on the way out. You feel what I said? Yeah, yeah. Can I do something? What's that, bro? I want to give you some headlines. Give me some headlines? Oh, wow. A surprise, man. Give me some headlines. Yeah. Curveball. Yeah. All right, man. So I saw some headlines because in the show meeting, like I said, y'all, we have these show meetings every Sunday to talk about what we're going to talk about on Monday. And I had a surprise for my dog, and he was like, how you going to not do the thing that the show is based on? And I said, I did that, but I did it in a different way, so something's going to happen later on. But I came across some headlines, and I couldn't pass up the opportunity to do what the show requests. So
is his name say
headlines? Fox News reports headline: handball team forced to wear bikini bottoms instead of boy shorts. Next headline:
what level? What level?
This is the Olympic team, like Olympic team level.
Fire. Why? Never mind.
Norway's women's team was prepared to pay fines over the ordeal. So handball team forced to wear bikini bottoms instead of the boy shorts that they wanted to wear. And they they couldn't show less than 10 centimeters of their ass. If it covered up more than 10 centimeters of their ass, they was getting fined. Yeah. SteelersNow.com reports Dwayne Haskins asked Instagram model to return $20,000 in gifts. She declines. And Jalopnik reports a movie about a woman being impregnated by a car just won the Palme d'Or at Cannes.
Ill to the third one. Email me that first one. Let's talk about that second one.
Bet that. So Dwayne Haskins asked Instagram model to return $20,000 in gifts. She declines. It has been a difficult week for Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Dwayne Haskins, to say the least. After his fiance was arrested for allegedly punching him in the face early this week, it appears that Haskins is now in a financial dispute with an Instagram model. According to Black Sports Online, Haskins is asking influencer Vanessa Chantel to return upwards of $20,000 in gifts that he purchased for her. Chantel shared screenshots of the text message exchange between herself and Haskins. In the text, the 24-year-old claims the money will not be going back to his pocket, but to assist family members in need. Chantel laughed at Haskins' request and clearly has no desire or intent to pay him back. Bro. Oh, man. So obviously that story jumped out at your boy because why you don't even know the reason that story jumped out. There's another story, Brittany Renner. I'm sure people know who that influencer is. Has trapped our dog, beloved baby boy of Tyler I Am, former Kentucky Wildcat basketball player. She's pregnant with his child, and she has a video out saying these athletes are dumb. If you really want you a check, go get you an athlete. And they usually don't use condoms anyway. So PJ finna be paying this young lady's way for about 18 years.
I thought they were married. They're not married?
They have deleted each other's Instagrams, unfollowed each other. It does not look like they are married.
So she really was just playing, dude?
That's what it looked like. Yeah. And I can send you that story also. But yeah, so this young man bought this young lady $20,000 in gifts. He asked for that back. She said, nah, we gonna keep that, Playboy. What you talking about? What gifts? And I don't mean to laugh at his misfortune, but the game is the game. It has been played like this for centuries. Unfortunately, some cats play better than others. And Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Well, my emotions are disgust. My thoughts bring me back to the topic of the flight deck, the social contract. And I myself excuse the outdated colloquialism, but I don't believe in no takesies, backsies. I ain't gonna call it the slur thing, the blank giving. You know what I'm saying? No takesies, backsies, cause I don't take back shit I've ever given. That ain't really in my motion. And for people who do, I don't think any less of them. But there are people I don't want to give me anything. And I ask people on the front end, do you think you're this type of person? And in my experience, they always lie, or they don't know that about themselves. They don't know how much they could care about you and how much they could want you to have something and how much it could hurt to think of you still having that but not wanting them. You see what I'm saying? So who knows what life could live that could make that a lie. But there is no lie for me. There is nothing I am unwilling to walk away from in order to stay true to who I am as a person. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't give any shit that I plan on taking back, whether it's time or any other resource. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Because that's my greatest resource is time. So if I gave you some time, I know I can't get none of that back. So fuck a little bread I spent. You feel what I'm saying? Keep that shit. Yeah. As long as I ain't leave you with nothing that you could tax me on for 18 years. You feel what I'm saying? like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I told you, people built me because of how my memory worked and how strong on tenets I am. People built me on like different sayings and different like things to live by. And my big brother Donna talked to me before I even thought about dating for real. The most I had did was kiss and walk a chick home every day from school. Like I'm like 8, but he drilled it into my head. Nigga, don't start doing anything you aren't willing to keep doing. And I remember the first time I didn't listen and the last time I didn't listen. Nah, I'm lying. I didn't listen a bunch of times. But I remember the first time I didn't listen. I was walking my girlfriend home in 2nd grade and she was tiny. I ain't even gonna cap. She was tiny. And
a little spinner.
It was hot as fuck. It's like I got kicked out of college high first semester, transferred 2nd semester. So this going into the summer when we booed up or whatever. It's hot as fuck. And I'm talking about, yes, I like women with big forehead. Shouts out to Rihanna. She sweat. You can see the beads of sweat jet rolling off her forehead because she like, you mind carrying my book bag for me? And she kissed me on the cheek. I said, oh, you already know it. Nigga, when I tell you I had to carry her book bag home every other day, I walked her home after that. Damn. And I thought my brother, like every step with all them, because like we had the same class. So I had twice as many books every day. This is where I don't take books home came from. I was like, I'm doing my homework before I go home. Fuck this shit. I'm leaving this shit in the school. I left my books in the classroom and her books was the only books I took home. And that's why I started doing my homework at school. But anyway, dead ass. I had to carry her books home every other. It was only like 3 more weeks left in school, but like that shit rang in my head. I was like, that nigga Donna said, don't start doing anything you aren't willing to keep doing.
Yeah.
That paired with the fact that I ain't the type of nigga to take shit back. I mean, I ain't gonna give you anything I'ma have remorse for.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to be able to tell me as soon as I hand it to you, I holler at your ass, I wanted you to have it. And that's why I don't do a goddamn thing that don't make me happy to do, bruh. And people resent that shit, but I be like, you could be mad at the shit I don't do, or you could take the shit that I did do to the motherfucking bank. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you can never question whether or not that's going to be a consistent part of your life, because that shit is true to who I am. That is the human being that will always be standing in front of you if you water that motherfucker and the grass grow. You feel what I'm saying? But like, that would have made me think of, bro. He played himself by, like, I don't know if they had any encounters while these gifts were shared, but if they did, she can't take no head back. He ain't trying to get no pussy back. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Even if it was just given time. She came and spent time with him, built up his ego. Is a bitch that's out of his league and made him feel like he could get a bitch like her. That ego boost, that confidence boost, whatever it was she gave that nigga. Facts. Whatever it is that she gave that nigga. He ain't trying to get that shit back.
Right.
And if it was an ego boost, she took that shit back with that screenshot. So niggas out here, don't play yourself. Don't start doing anything you ain't willing to keep doing. And that nigga seemed to be willing to keep getting played, because that's what the news is doing to his ass.
Yeah.
So these are my thoughts on it, man. I went off a little bit, but that's how I feel. How you feel about it?
Man, I agree with that young lady, man. I'm like, nah, like that joint said $20,000 in gifts. When you give something away, it was in exchange for, like, say if I give you, like, it was for a reason. Something prompted him to give her.
Gift stand for girl, I fucking tried. Shit. I need that back. I tried.
He gave,
but I don't know if I'm gonna get signed. I need that back.
Yeah. I mean, he gonna get his money, man. And like
he out here fucking up it bad. That what got him word.
100%. 100%. Saw him in Vegas one time. He was out there acting wild, doing his thing. When he's with
the crazy part is, what if your wife beat him up, or his fiance beat him up because she needed something and he had the money, and that's where the 20,000 went. So he trying to fix the wrong, so he ain't got to press charges. Cause he like, man, if I'm a post bail, they probably it might be bail money for all I know. I don't want to speculate, but you know, a failure to plan is a plan for failure, and I do have liable insurance, so I'm saying whatever the fuck I want to on this podcast. Give me some headlines, gang.
Square bit, and that's a poor example of somebody trying to flip the script on somebody. I'm gonna give you a good example of somebody trying to flip the script in their own personal life. Shout out to my dog, Gangsta Gibbs.
Okay. Gibbo. I'm with it.
Freddie Gibbs, man. He sent out a tweet, man. He wanted to feud, and I rock with rap heavy, fuck with rap heavy. That is the music genre that I identify with.
Can I make a request?
What's that?
Say the thing, because I like to put the transition when you say the thing. That's when it drops.
Oh, man, I'm about to give you some of the timeline, G.
Hey, dude.
I'm about to give you some of the timeline. And I was checking my timeline, and saw my brother, Gangsta Gibbs, Fred.
You see what I'm saying? People gonna be out and about, be like, man, you got a second to talk for a second? You mind if we have a cow? Be like, fuck it, man, let's have a cow. Nigga pull out his voice recorder and be like, bow, can we have a chop session? And you be like, you hit them in the throat or some shit, you know. They might not know what you mean by chop session, but go ahead, though.
Yeah, man.
Give me some timeline. I'm going to put it up every time. Say it again.
I'm about to give you some timeline, man. I was on the Twitterverse. Saw my dog, Gangsta Gibbs, tweet that 4 years ago, I was in South France on bail. This year, I'm down here premiering a movie where I'm the lead role. And that tweet was fire for a lot of reasons.
God is real.
One,
was the last
God
part
is
of
real.
that tweet.
God is real was the last part of that tweet. Absolutely. God is real is the last part of that tweet.
4 years ago,
reasons.
I was in the south of France on Belle. This weekend, I'm at a movie premiere of which I am the leading role. God is real. Some of that nature.
God is real.
Paraphrasing.
Yeah. And one reason that was dope is he believed in God and God is real. Two,
that is one reason that's dope.
Flipped the script on life, and he went back to a place where he had one experience, and then now it's a completely different experience. Three, I didn't know my dog Gangsta Gibbs. One was acting. Two, I didn't know that he was in leading role mode, and so it sent me down not even a rabbit hole. It was like, man, I got to go check out what my dog, what he in. He in France premiere. I want to see what I got to go see what this is about. And so I brought this up. I'm bringing the movie up because it is a movie I am not jealous that we not in, but I am pissed that we don't have some part in it. And so it is called Down with the King. And it is about a rapper who is at the top of the game. His name is Maxwell Mercury. Rap name is Money Merc. And his agent or manager, his manager sends him to like this countryside. I forget where. I got to get the actual countryside that he go to, and to do his next album. And while he down there doing his next album, in this like remote place on the countryside or wherever he is, next door neighbor is a farmer. He get to know his next door neighbor. They start sharing values with each other. This nigga start farming, bruh. He starts farming, falls in love with farming, and says, I'm gonna walk away from rap. And now his manager's calling down there to him saying, I need you to come back to rap. The people need you. I sent you down there to do an album. You can't go down there and become a farmer. He trying to get away from like his reality of all the fame and the fortune and all that shit. And he find these values in this farmer that I live this quiet lifestyle, put my hand in the dirt every day and pulling out, God's creations like out of earth, taking the seed and turning it into something that's fruit and you can consume. And so I like read that shit and I was like, oh man. And so I read an interview that the director did about that. And he was like, you hear all of these from rags to riches, from the streets to success stories, about movies portray that image, but you rarely see somebody who has it all and they do the contrary, which is look for a quiet lifestyle. And he said, I wanted to blend two worlds that have never meshed before, which is rapping and farming. And I want to say to that dude, Diego Ongaro, shouts out to you for having this vision, but you a lie. Rap and farming have already met each other. And we gonna show you. You showing it on the big screen. It's two cats who doing this shit that's gonna do that in real life. But shout out to Gangsta.
That's on Haleen Green.
That's on Haleen Green. That's on.
You did it on the big screen. We've been doing this in Haleen Green, the Garden Queen, right off of Martin Luther King. Fuck you talking about West Side?
Yeah, West Side. The West Side Community Garden.
Hey, but in reference to your tweet, man, I got a C.O.D quote for everything. This right here is from Smile. Started life on the highway to hell, but every struggle was a blessing because now I done flipped the script, taking the street way to heaven. I pray that brother Gibbs have continued success. I am a recent member of the flock. You know what I'm saying? Like the song that was really just the one I was like, oh, okay. This nigga hard as fuck is the one with the bunny rabbit as the YouTube video. You sent me the song early morning, and I was getting ready to watch the video. Yeah, every day I need a dope man. Gang sign. That though. I said, let me go listen to this nigga catalog, man. Cause this nigga didn't just pick this flow up. I just ain't heard this nigga in this light before. You feel me? And I went and started doing some homework. So he recently made me a fan. I'm a 2021 fan. And to become well versed with him as he ascend, and he already kind of, I pray that I get to tell niggas 5-10 years from now, nigga, I'm a day one Gibbo fan. So the heights he done reached and he thinking, man, God is real. I hope he say that 4 years from now. Cause like, man, 4 years ago, I was just debuting the movie, man, hoping it would be received well. Now I'm out here going for my second Oscar on you niggas. You know what I'm saying? God is real. Like, I pray I get to be like, nigga, I done seen everything he done been in, nigga. I done did it. So I wish him continued success, man. So it just, again, love. That's how I feel about a few stories that you done said. It's only one that didn't get that type of response, and it was that the nigga with the small hands. You know what they say about niggas with small hands? You feel what I'm saying?
They wear small gloves.
A nigga who don't wear small gloves with a bit who judge nigga like that, like put it like this. If I was in Dwayne Haskins' shoes, me and that young woman would have got that bread out of another nigga. And the time we spent together would have been enjoyable enough to where she'd have been down the mood like that for the squad. And I don't know about this specific individual, but the type of people that the universe has blessed me with and how we have fucked with each other, that has been my experience with how I'd have moved with it. And I'd have got more than 20. If she got 20 out of me, we'd have got more than 20 out the next nigga. And it would have been in gift. That shit would have been in fiat. You feel what I'm saying? But that shit would have been in cold hard quiche. But I only know why I went backwards. Move forward, my nigga. Shouts out to Gibbo, man. Real nigga shit. Yeah, that's what it is. You start talking about Gibbo, and I just got on some real nigga shit. I held that back. I don't know why the fuck I said that gangsta shit. It's his fault. It's his fault, man. That nigga breathe some real nigga shit. He have a nigga thinking about the 90s out this bitch.
Man, yeah, I've been a fan since Eastside Moonwalker, man.
Like, it's crazy to find him as a grown nigga, cause he sound like my uncle. And I ain't really kicked it with my uncles since I was a kid. But like, as a grown nigga, he sound like my uncle still. I love this nigga voice, man. He good at what he do. I'm gonna check this movie out. And if it goes to the streaming 100%. Platform, it'll be the first one I pay that $35 bullshit for to see it new. I'm gonna wait on Black Widow to be the regular price, but I pay for this to see new to support, bruh. Jed to run the checkup.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Speaking of running the checkup, we made a bet. We made a bet on the last episode, man. And
who?
Yeah, I wanted to do a quick recap. So we bet on the Open Championship. Played at St. George's Golf Club in Kent. I think Kent is in England. And yeah, the bet was I picked two players that I thought might win a championship. My dog picked two players that he thought might win a championship. And then we both picked, we called it a bull pick. And it's a collective pick between us two. And bless you. God bless you.
I'm waving because I want to interrupt, nigga. I'm trying to be polite. You gonna let me interject?
Do your thing. I had switched over to the results.
For all the dumb niggas out there, if y'all doing a stupid ass British accent and somebody asks you where you from, just take any shit over here that got a new in front of it and say it without the new. Hampshire, York, shit like that. I ain't gonna keep going, but you see my drift. You feel what I'm saying? Like, new booty. You stupid as fuck. Shoes, new shoes. You know what I'm talking about? But fuck it. But yeah, just take the new off that bitch. It worked. That's all I'm gonna say. When I say I got aliases, P, we gonna get on the aliases one day. But go ahead. Thank you for that interjection. Because when you said that place, you was like, yeah, I think that's it. I said, sound like some shit they just took the new off of. Sound about right.
Yeah.
It was like Hampton. Yeah, New Hampton. That sound about right.
Yeah,
That's in Virginia. It's a Hampton, VA, but it's a new one too.
Ain't that? Oh, it's a New Hampton? Okay. I know.
I'm pretty sure.
AI from Hampton, some shit like that.
It might be. Yeah, that the capital? What's the capital of Virginia? Can I tell you something funny? You know how dumb niggas put C for every answer they don't know on the multiple choice test? Whenever I don't know the capital of a state, I say Topeka. Because that was the hardest one for me to memorize. Topeka fucking Kansas, bruh. So I was like, what's that one in Virginia? Topeka. Hell no. Is that stupid or is that just how the mind works? I think it's stupid.
You said it. So my dog first pick. Full disclosure, neither one of us won. But
he lost though. He about to explain to you why. You lost, nigga.
Nah.
Who people was closer to the top?
Mine.
Run the results. Run the results.
The results. My dog. So the winner of the Open Championship was Colin Morikawa. He finished at minus 15. He started off at 1,001 odds. And then
you ain't count them zeros. Them was 100,000 to 1.
Which means it's 1,000. So you take the first two zeros are like the decimal point.
Oh, that's bullshit. Okay, that was from a different website that we was looking at before.
Yeah. So he was
okay.
And so the second place was Jordan Spieth. He finished at, I want to say, he finished at minus 14 or minus 13.
We myopic here. Just tell them the results of the people we chose. Them the only people that mattered in the tournament. Cause we got 6 golfers to recap.
We'll start from bottom up then. Our bull pick was Rory.
Oh, he trying to be a dick.
He finished at even. He was 16. He started at 16 to 1 odds. Bryson DeChambeau, it was a C.O.D. pick. He finished at minus 2. He started up at 34 to 1 odds.
What was his Sunday score?
His Sunday score was
the best of the group. I'm just saying I picked the closer. Go ahead. Go ahead. Now you keep moving. You ain't got to break that for me. I'm just being a dick for the fans. Go ahead.
Okay.
For the listeners.
Brooks Koepka. My dog picked Brooks Koepka. He finished at minus 8. He finished tied for, I think, 14th. And then my 2 picks were
overall minus 10.
Louis Oosthuizen and John Rahm, who both finished at minus 13, tied for 3rd. So
I win because I'm minus 12. Minus 26, way higher for those of y'all who don't understand how golf is played. I won.
No, you did not, bro.
And for y'all who don't understand golf, I won because I had a lower score overall. He had a -26 and I had a -12, so I won. For those of y'all who don't understand golf.
For those of you who do understand golf, y'all know I won by 14 strokes. And I told you four finished better than the bull pick that we chose, Xander Schauffele, who finished. For
those of y'all who don't understand golf, what the hell is a stroke even anyway? It's 14 strokes under. What does that mean? Over, under, birdie? Who knows? But I won. For those of y'all who don't understand, y'all know what it is. Trust your boy.
So that's the recap for the Open. That's a bet. The first golf tournament that we've done. So far we've done the NFL draft. We stretched across the board. We got the NFL draft. We did the first 10 picks of the NFL draft. We did games.
That was an exacto bet, right? You had to get that right.
Yeah, you had to get that right. So nobody really.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, no.
Cool.
It ain't no payout because you had to. Your person had to win.
Okay.
It wasn't close. It wasn't horseshoes. It wasn't horseshoes or grenades. You had to win.
Okay, bet.
And then we did Eastern Conference Finals. We did the West and the East. So we did the Conference Finals, East, West. We picked game 4 and 5, respectively, of the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. And then now we got golf. So I think the next thing we may do is soccer match. But yeah, that's our first.
You golf. Silly fuck, nigga. We need to do a whole Olympic bracket. It's a once in a 4-year opportunity, bro. We just kicked off GSH. We need to do Special Olympics coverage and shows and everything. This could be what get us hotty poppity.
Olympics. Yeah, what's up? When they start? They start soon, don't they?
The opening ceremony was yesterday or some shit.
Oh, for real?
I'm lying. I think it was, though.
Yeah, ain't no
I said it with confidence.
You did say it with confidence. I thought that's
the
right.
key. That's the key. For those of y'all who don't know shit about the Olympics, it started yesterday. For those of y'all who don't know shit, y'all done missed it. This shit gonna come out 3 weeks later and niggas still gonna be fucking wrong. I bet it did. Olympics opening 2021. Friday, July 23rd. That was yesterday like a motherfucker. For those of y'all who don't understand that we cascade these releases, that shit 4 days from now. Well, we just gonna move on. Keep it going.
I told you, man, I had a special surprise.
For those of y'all who bad at math, that made today the 19th. Well, go ahead. They said, I know it's a Monday. They looking at their calendar right now trying to figure their shit out. Or not. They don't give a fuck.
I told you I had a special story for you, man. Special, give me some pages. And it's the inspiration behind a timeless musical classic, man. So I ran across this story on, and this is a Give Me Some Pages / Give Me Some Timeline. But it's a timeless classic that we all like. Whenever you hear it come on, you know it, no matter what generation you grew up in. Like, I feel like if you 15 today, you still would know the song if it came on. And it is the real life inspiration behind the Thong song by C.O.W. And I saw this story, bro. And I was like, this nigga C.O.W. one of the realest motherfuckers on the planet, bro. I gotta read this shit verbatim. Like, this shit is pure. Like, this is pure. Ain't like Colombian, like, this is Colombian cocaine pure. So I got to get this to you, man. This is Give Me Some Pages. Real life inspiration behind C.O.W.'s Thong song. It was a cold winter's night. Laughs, No, I don't remember if it was wintertime or not, but I had a date with a young lady, and I must have done something right over the course of dinner because I got treated to a more intimate gathering later on. We started to get all hot and heavy. She got undressed, and lo and behold, I see something that I'd never seen before, this article of clothing. It was one of the most glorious things I've ever seen in my life. I was like, what are you wearing? And she said, oh, this old thing? It's a thong. I think that's when my hair turned blonde. It was like in the 10 Commandments when Moses went to get to see the burning bush and came back down and his head was silver. I don't really remember the rest of that night because I was under the spell of said material. I was shell-shocked. She already had the cake, but she put the icing on with the thong. That cemented it. I immediately went home to start writing the song and call my boys up. I saw something yesterday. Gather around, I'll tell you. Everybody leaned in and I told them, there's this new underwear girls are wearing and it's called a thong. It was like the Fellowship of the Ring. Everybody was like, we got to go out and hunt for the one thong. They literally left in that moment. A few days later, my cousin, Kid, burst through the door. I thought there was a fire. Somebody got hit by a car. And he was like, I was with this girl last night. And guess what she gave me? And I quote, that thong, the thong, thong, thong. We burst out laughing. Then we laughed all the way to the bank. For the record, I gave him a big percentage of the song royalties. Bruh, tell me that ain't epic. Your homeboy came back and said that thong, and that's one of the best parts of the song.
Oh, facts.
Because he based the rest of the chorus off of that. I like it when the beat go dunna dunna. He based it off that stutter.
Yeah, that would be the first and foremost. The fact that he had never seen one finally explains why it wasn't one thong in the whole fucking video. I'm like, this nigga don't know what a thong is. He dancing down the beach for these bikini cut bikinis. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't one thong on the whole beach. Like he should have had Nelly cast this motherfucker because he'd have had some thongs on the beach. But yeah, though, outside of that story amazing. But the fact that like being introduced to thongs inspired him, like the fact that in his mind they was new and like, but it's like it's new to him and his homies. You feel what I'm saying? Or maybe growing up, girls was just wearing panties and he had reached the level of maturity to where women were wearing grown-up underwear. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
And like that level of maturation and that coming of age with him and his partners inspired this whole thing for him. Phenomenal. And as a country, everybody was like, yeah. But the notion that he think of himself to thongs what Nelly or TIC or Jeezy would say, yeah, niggas in the trap weren't wearing F01 like that till I dropped that. F01s, whichever AF1, everybody got they whatever they called it, but I love T.I. version, I love Jeezy version, I love Nelly version. I don't give a fuck who try to take credit. Thank all of y'all for making a version, because I would play all three of them bitches back to back to back. That's why they make playlists. I wish 10 other rappers would have made them, so I had an hour-long Air Force One playlist for that era to like I needed one from them franchise boys. I needed, you feel what I'm saying? Yeah. Like if everybody would have gave me one, I'd have an hour-long era capsulate. Like I'd put on some, like it makes so much sense for them niggas in New Orleans and the French Ward to be wearing Maurice Francois Jabots. I was this years old before I made that fucking connection. And it's when I was looking at Juvie say vax that thing up and think, what happened? That's when it hit me. I was like, oh, Maurice Francois Jabot, French Ward. That makes sense. Because Master P was rapping about him on Ice Cream Man. I'm like, that nigga P was in both? I ain't hear him say that. I done heard this song 1,000 times, and I did not hear that nigga rap about bowls, cuz. Yeah. But yeah, all them New Orleans niggas was on that French shit.
100%.
They probably responsible for Louis popping off. They just don't get the credit. Gotta be. If it's French, it gotta be them.
That's true.
Gotta be immatriculated up from there.
Is Louis French or Italian?
Oh, they built their fortune.
He may be
outfitting the French. Louis who? Man. Tell me something good, bruh. You can get us out there, France talk. I cut that whole shit from the thing. This is gonna be an edited episode for real. I'm glad I got caught up. This is why things happen the way they do. You feel me? I'm gonna cut the fat on this. Go ahead.
So this is the first GSH version, or Gimme Some Headlines version of Tell Me Something Good. I got 3 good stories, but I'm gonna give them to you in Gimme Some Headlines fashion. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Pikesville High School graduate Olivia Carter graduates with 4.2 GPA, has 15 college acceptances. COVID-19 decimated Black women-owned businesses, but Ayesha Curry wants to change that. WNBA's Candace Parker of the Chicago Sky to be the first female basketball player on cover of NBA 2K.
That's some dope shit, though. When the fuck the PS3 coming out, man? Fuck. I said 3. I'm old as fuck. The PS5, that's what I meant. Niggas been waiting on PS's to come out since the 2, cuz y'all don't even know, nigga. But fucking it ain't even gonna cap, bruh. Them last 2 don't really excite me. Read them 2 again so they get some shine and they get some good. But I'm choosing the first one.
COVID-19 decimated Black women-owned businesses, but Ayesha Curry wants to change that.
Ayesha Curry don't itch my goat.
WNBA's Candace Parker of the Chicago Sky to be the first female basketball player on cover of NBA 2K.
I like Candace Parker. I just don't really give a fuck about the cover thing. I'm glad that she retired and she can't get injured with the curse shit. She retired, right?
I don't think so.
Oh, so she be doing that broadcaster shit full time, ain't she? Yeah. God damn, she a bad motherfucker. Cause this ain't the first one that got the WNBA on it though, is it? It's on last year's too, right?
I'm not sure.
Well, shouts out to Candace Parker then. And then the only thing I say about that is I pray her health and I pray the curse don't touch her. That's the only thing that I was ever invested with that cover shit. I just don't give a fuck about it. Maybe because I'm old and shit. But for young people, for young women to see that shit in the store, that what's up. But it's like they trying to make more women gamers. They're trying to profit them. You know what I mean?
Right.
That first one though, that's all that shit good. I just don't care about. I don't want to hear nothing that got to go on. If it's a Curry, it need to be Seth or Steph. It need to rhyme for me to give a fuck. If it's a Curry, it got to rhyme.
So we're going with Pikesville graduate Olivia Carter. Graduates with 4.2 GPA and has
to be honest with
college
you,
acceptances.
You got another one?
Do I have another one?
Yeah.
I can find another one.
I feel like a lot of people do them. This person got a high GPA and they going to college shit. I don't even mean to be a dick. And I don't want to veto that one, but I don't want the other two. And that one dope, but can I say something that I'm going to want to cut out of the show?
Yeah.
I think about what it was like being around valedictorians. And I was like, I don't want to celebrate that. You know what I'm saying? I was around the 4.2, could go to 15 colleges. Yeah. I'm sure they get celebrated a lot of different places and they deserve it, but I'm good on that. Fuck that. Let's talk about Candace Parker. I ain't gonna make you find a new one, and I ain't gonna cut that out. These is real conversation. I might cut it out. These is conversations on wax. Let's talk about CP. Shorty dope. Fuck it. I'ma choose. WNBA. That ain't how GSH work. Ain't no veto the stories. You should have vetoed that when I asked it. Fuck that shit, cuz. Just out to Candace. I'm choosing Shorty. She fired. Tell me about her.
WNBA champion and all-star Candace Parker to be the first woman on cover of NBA 2K game. WNBA powerhouse Candace Parker will be on the cover of NBA 2K22 in honor of the WNBA's 25th anniversary as a pro league. This makes the Chicago Sky Star the first woman player to take center stage on the latest edition popular NBA 2K video game series. I grew up a video game fanatic. That's what I did, to the point where my brothers would give me the fake controller when I was younger, where I think I was playing and I wasn't, Parker said. All I wanted to do was be just like them. As a kid growing up, you dream of having your own shoe and dream of being in a video game. Those are an athlete as a kid. Those are the dreams as a kid, as an athlete. They wrote that sentence terribly. To be able to experience that, I don't take it lightly. Parker has been a national presence in the sport since college, where she led Tennessee to back-to-back national championships in 2007 and 2008 and 2016.
That was her?
Yeah.
When we was watching Pat Summitt coach them, we was in college, bro. We watched them fucking games. Yeah. That was her?
That was her. Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
We went to see them play MTSU in the MTSU. You remember that shit?
Yep.
Bro. So we've seen Candace Parker hoop. Yeah. How did I not know that was her, bro?
Yeah.
Damn, okay. Hey, I'm glad I told this story for two reasons.
Talent. Yeah.
Can I ask you a second question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you have anybody do you like what she was talking about, where they had you think you playing the game, but you're not really playing?
Nah, I did it to people though.
Oh man. My next question was, how did you feel when you had that glass breaking moment when you realized you weren't playing? Because I wanted to fight, but the people I wanted to fight could beat my ass. So I just felt hurt. It was terrible. It felt terrible. I wanted to fucking fight.
But I never did it to Kenny, because me and him, he always been.
I'm ashamed at how long it took.
The controller was broke. He wasn't doing what you wanted to do.
They do it playing Mortal Kombat. Them two niggas would be fighting each other. I should have figured it out it ain't three people on the screen. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I should have figured it out way sooner than I did. I ain't gonna talk about the ages, but yeah. I'm glad I told this story because she was speaking my language on a few accounts talking about being a gamer. That's how I knew she wasn't lying. Because if I ever meet her, that is going to be, or we ever interview her, that is going to be the question that I open up with. Yeah, my dog P introduced me to this story, and what's the outlet?
The outlet is good. I got it from two outlets: goodblacknews.org and ESPN.
Awesome. But yeah. I'm a reference this and ask about that shit. I said, how did you feel? She's like, what do you mean? No. Really, how did you feel? Like that first time you beat Contra, if you played that shit, how did it feel when you beat Double Dragon? How did it feel when you figured out you wasn't playing? Did you feel stupid? Did you feel like an idiot? Did you feel like a big dum-dum? Like, cause that shit feel terrible, bruh. You could never go back. And then you watch somebody else have it done to them and you just peon. That's the gamer. You got to go through that shit. Apparently not, though. Apparently you just get to do it to niggas, big brothers.
Yeah.
Douchebags.
Shouts out to little Dusty, man. I apologize. It's not the Dusty that we know. It's another little Dusty. Cameron the Dusty. My grandma had a daycare, and she would always make us play with the kids that she had a daycare. Like me and my brother went to daycare, and like we had to play with the kids who went to daycare. And we was like, we ain't got to let them play our video game, so we would give money. Like this ours, like our daddy bought us this. Like they daddy want them to play video games. He'll bring a TV and a motherfucking PS2 over here for them. So that's how we treated him.
Bruh, video game used to be war, my nigga. Like we be playing at the Boys and Girl Club, and they had this shit called a cage, like that was on the edge of the basketball.
That's why
court.
I seen it happen for the first time.
Bruh,
Girls Club. That's
niggas
a place.
Niggas would be sitting down because the 64 had 4 outlets. It was the first one where in console you could play with 4 people. We'd be playing GoldenEye, WCW, Bash at the Beach, fucking the best one was WWE, WWF No Mercy though. Cause it had all the characters. It was after they had merged. You could throw weapons. You could go to the back. But like niggas would restart the system and you had been waiting for your turn. And then you get the way you selecting characters. And you like, man, what the fuck? And you start pulling on your cord. And the game started, and you start looking at who shouldn't be playing, and the nigga that shouldn't be playing, an 18-year-old nigga. And I'm like, bro, the little kids can't even get in this motherfucker but for 2 hours a day. Yeah. I've been waiting to play for an hour. And like, I was stupid nice, so niggas wouldn't want me to play because once I started playing, I didn't lose. And like, it was shit where like, my big brother, you know my OG, like, we had every fucking game. I would be done brought the game, nigga. I'll pull that bitch out and walk out the cage, bro. I used to do crazy shit. And then I'd be fighting niggas on the basketball court. I'd throw the game to Dawn or Lalira. Man, like it used to be wild shit. And it got to the point to where niggas knew if it were mine, I'd wait my turn, but you couldn't big boy me because you were gonna have to fight about that shit. You feel what I'm saying? You can do that shit with your game. I'd just leave. But if it was my shit, I'd be damned if I wait my turn and then don't get to play. That's where that watching YouTube and just watching people play came. It's an era of niggas who had to wait their turn because there wasn't no online just jump into another game after getting your ass whipped. If y'all niggas got 1 kill and you need 70, you didn't just get to jump your sorry ass on another nigga team. You'd be waiting for your turn and your whole team would be happy somebody did that with your controller. And you couldn't just fight and then come back and play your turn. Because I'd go back and play my turn. I wouldn't even get suspended after that. We hit for about 30 seconds, throw a nigga into the cage, and I'd be like, bruh, you have to fight me, period, nigga. Like, ain't gonna be no go play the game. This is going to be what you do. So you want to play the game or you want to fight? Cause it take about 10 minutes for a match to end. And they were like, fuck it, bro. You got it. And then I wouldn't play my turn. And then the nigga got in the next round. We playing Royal Rumble. And all you had to do was knock niggas out the ropes. You feel what I'm saying? It was like some shit. So it was quick in the summer. You know, you could be about to throw a nigga out the rope and a nigga hit you with a pipe and you fall out the ring. You feel what I'm saying? So I lost almost immediately. And I just handed the nigga the controller. He said, you did all that shit. I said, I know, right? You did all that shit. And I went out there and I started hooping because I wasn't finna wait another hour because you only get 2 hours in the cage for the young niggas. You feel me? But I'm with her on that game and shit, nigga. You like back in the day, you had to go through it, nigga. I seen they was selling that 4-player X-Men arcade game. You remember that shit? Uh-huh. Man, they was selling that bitch for like $600 or $700 on Twitter the other day. Damn. The actual shit.
Yeah, that makes sense though. Yeah, it makes
sense. It's just a big ass tube and a game. If they sold that game, like I pay $60-$70 for that game if it just hooked straight into the TV. Like I pay for that game, but I'm not getting a console to get it on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or buying a big ass arcade. I don't need a big ass box of wood and a old ass TV. Just give me the goddamn game. Don't be difficult. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Pac-Man need to sell a HDMI cord and a joystick. My man, go ahead, bro.
Nah, man. I was letting you go on your video game rant, man. I just wanted to shout out Candace Parker again for making history.
Best game ever made. And shout out Mario 64 and Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Man, golden.
Don't quote me. Golden. 64 games is the point. 64 games is the point. Smash Brothers come from there. Mario Kart, nigga, Nintendo got it. Everybody else just trying to catch up and remix. Yeah. That's something good. Shouts out to Candace Parker. Shouts out to video game culture. Shouts out to her hitting us with a couple of quotes and just throwing us on a nostalgia run. She was a great fucking choice. And I'm mad that I resisted it in the beginning. And I'm going to leave that in just so they know. Be like, look at that nigga, man. He should have just chosen Headline. That was something good at hell. And he ain't even know it. And that's a lesson for the listeners, man. Sometimes shit be good for you and you don't even know it. Don't be out here missing your blessing. Candace Parker got some sauce for you.
Take that with you. So, that is Gimme Some Headlines, Season 1, Episode
14.
Yes, sir. We out there, be it, man.
I didn't get to give me some headlines. I got the Episode 14.
Boy music.